Hey guys, my name's Will and I make an assortment of music under the moniker Hush Child. I'm here today with Waves to show you just some of the creative ways I use CR8 in my workflow. Let's jump into it. So right now I've got a project, but it's sounding a little bit thin. My first idea would be to create a custom pad sound. So we're going to hit the Cosmos button and we're going to type in sine. I want just a focal point for the pad. I want to make sure that the notes are heard for the entirety that I'm playing these chords. So what I'm going to do is turn on the loop button and then just create a crossfade here in the bottom right. I want to make this sine wave sound a little bit more lo-fi, so what I'm going to do is choose this modulation tab and drag modulation up to tune. Now if I grab M1 and push it up, and I'm able to make this a really pitch wobbly sound, or just something a tad lo-fi. I want to create a new sound for this pad, but instead of clicking add new sampler, I'm going to drag this tab to the right. That'll make a duplicate of that sound, but also copy all of the settings over. And if I click swap mode, it means that I can drag in a new sound. I'm going to go with a vocal. And notice how it changes the sample, but keeps all of the settings, and hit that suggested root key because we're currently in A flat major. It recognizes that root and now puts it in the right key for me.
By selecting the voice algorithm, then flat, I can read any pitch fluctuation.
I'm going to create a smaller loop down here and start to filter that sound a little bit. I'm setting it to group 1 because I don't want it to affect my other sample. Why don't we find one more unique sound like a guitar? It's a little bit sharp right now, but I only want to use the freeze function. When I hit this little hand icon, it means I can use offset to scrub the waveform to find the right sound that I like. What I want to do is make it a little bit more pad-like. So to do that, I'm going to use the ADSR and just fade in the attack a little bit and extend the release time a little bit. Sounds nice, but all of the sounds are coming from the same place. With this first sound, I'm going to set it to unison. It basically creates a copy of that sample and detunes it ever so slightly at the sides so that the sound appears wider. Awesome, it's a little bit loud in the mix right now.
So I'll hit the mixer tab to adjust the tune, width, pan, and volume.
And I'm just going to add the Waves H reverb, a sidechain compressor, and an EQ as well. Let's see what it sounds like in context. Awesome, what do you say we make another instrument? I think this time a nice counter melody. When I'm creating a melody quickly, sometimes it's good to just use a sample I already have. So let's use the guitar that I already have in the arrangement and let's set it to harmonic. We're going to choose a different start point and then freeze that part of the waveform. I'm going to expand this tab and then look at our ADSR, increasing our attack and increasing our release and decreasing our sustain just a touch as well. I'm going to link A2 to tune and the cutoff, which we can turn on. Cutoff, let's reduce that to about halfway and turn A2 up to the max. With tune, we're going to bring it down to -12 semitones and then turn it up about 30 clicks. At the minute, our tune is moving in the wrong direction. So what we're going to do with A2 is just decrease that attack and decrease that sustain and bring these curve icons to the bottom. Going to increase my decay to about 60. And I'm happy with that. Then I'm going to duplicate this sample and set it to unison and pitch this sample up +12 and just reduce the fine tune a little bit so it sets itself apart from our previous sample. We'll also choose a new part of this sample as well. And then I'll just head over to the mixer tab and reduce that volume just a tiny bit. Awesome, let's check out how that sounds. Currently in my project, my drums sound like this. Which is fine, but there's not really a lot of life to them. So I want to replace this stale hi-hat sound with an assortment of clock samples that I have. The problem right now is that these 8 clock samples, they all play at the same time. So to combat this, come over to the keyboard icon and then just hit this equals sign. By selecting equal ranges and then grabbing this blue icon in the top right, you can set all of your samples to the same octave range but have unique keys. This way when I play C, I get the first sample, sharp, I get the next sample, D, I get the next sample, and so on. Now I can create a unique rhythm inside CR8 that will sound a little something like this. Let's add that to my beat. This is sounding much better already. Don't forget that if you're not too confident in modulating these tabs, then just head to the top of the browser and find the presets. I'm going to choose something from Effects. And you can replace the sounds that you don't like with your own effects. So just make sure that that swap mode is turned on. I've got this sample that's a combination of seed shakers and chimes. And notice how it's copied all of the same modulation parameters because I had that hot swap enabled. Now it sounds like this. That's super cool, right? It saved me a bunch of time in assigning module parameters and tweaking sounds. Let's see what this beat sounds like as a whole.